Guys, what is going on? This is the Club of Demand 1993 coming at you for just a quick little congratulations video to give out to you can also say six Major League Baseball players who were elected into the National Baseball Hall of Fame today. Well, yesterday, actually. Two of them, though, were elected last month through the 2 days committee, as they both had already, surpassed when it was 15 years on the ballot, now it's 10 years. Lee Smith and Harold Baines, Harold Baines apparently never really hit high percentages when it came to voting for the Hall of Fame ballots. But he was voted in by today's game committee, along with Lee Smith. I believe they picked so many players. I think they had to have 12 votes to get in. And I think Baines had 12 and Lee Smith, the former Major League leader in saves, by the way, with 478, were voted in with 16 votes. Lou Piniella came up short with just 11 votes, so he was 1 vote short. So maybe next year, Lou, if the committee wants to vote on you for you again, but no one else really came close. But those were 2 there. But the 4 that were voted on by Major League Baseball, the National Baseball Writers Association of America, I want to say, of who got into the Hall of Fame, were Edgar Martinez, former Seattle Mariner, who spent most of his career as a designated hitter, also time at first base, and even a third baseman too in the earlier years of his career, got voted on his 10th and final year on the ballot. That's one that I was really pushing for this year. We had Mike Mussina, who on his 6th year of the ballot, who spent his 18-year career, 10 with the Orioles, 8 with the Yankees. He got voted with 76% of the vote. Martinez had 85.4% of the vote. Tied with Martinez also with 85.4% was a first-time Hall of Famer, the late Doc Roy Halladay, who passed away back in November of 2017 with in a little bit like a single-engine plane crash in the Gulf of Mexico, unfortunately. But he got into the Hall of Fame on his first year of ballot. And, of course, the biggest news, the for sure lockup for sure this year for the first ballot Hall of Famer is Enter the Sandman himself, Mo, former Yankees closer Mariano Rivera got elected into the Hall of Fame. Not just got into the Hall of Fame, but the first player to ever be ununanimously voted into the Hall of Fame with all 425 votes. You need 319 of the votes to get in, which equals 75% of the vote. But everyone voted for Mariano Rivera, the first player ever. Now, could that change next year? Because Derek Jeter's on the ballot next year, his first year, and he's getting in for sure. But will he be also unanimously selected? We'll see. I mean, the only other person before him who had this record was Ken Griffey Jr., who was, I think, 3 votes shy, I think it was, of being unanimously selected, which I feel he should have been, but he still got in with 99% of the vote. So yeah, those are the 4 who got into the Hall of Fame. So let's talk about them briefly. And Edgar Martinez was one I was really pushing for this year because he was on his 10th year of the ballot. And I feel like, some people like Martinez get the short end of the stick is yes, he was mainly a designated hitter. But the guy still put up unreal numbers for his caliber of a player. He still hit 312 in his 18-year career, 309 home runs. He had over 2,000 hits, over 500 doubles. He was a multiple-time All-Star game representative for the Mariners. And he's won 2 batting titles. I believe his best season was in 2000, I think it was, when he hit, I know he hit career high 37 home runs. He drove in a heap of a lot of RBIs there. I know he had 3 grand slams that year. He was also known, despite the fact that the Mariners haven't had the most experience in the playoffs lifetime, he had some great postseason heroics, getting that grand slam in one of the games in that great Cinderella series, the 1995 ALDS against the Yankees, to give them an 11-8 win over the Yankees. He also had the big 2-run double to give them the victory to come back from being down 2-0 against the Yankees to go to the American League Championship. But unfortunately, their magic ran out there. He was also part of the Mariners' 2001 116 win season as well. But the guy was just, definitely an underrated player. And he had the Designated Hitter award of the year pretty much named after him. Other than him, Harold Baines, and Frank Thomas, and of course now recently David Ortiz, who takes the cake. Definitely, is probably the best designated hitter of all time. I gotta say, definitely one of the most underrated players in the game. He's done a lot for the game on the field and off the field, and whatnot. And I definitely think he was deserving of this award for sure for getting to the Hall of Fame on his 10th year of the ballot. Mike Mussina was also a bit of a surprise to some people. This guy, 18 years in the big leagues. I keep forgetting that he actually technically played longer with the Orioles than the Yankees. He had 270 career wins. He was in the All-Star game several times. Although it's a thing I didn't notice though until I looked today, he never won a World Series. Despite playing for the Yankees, he came with the Yankees just after the Yankees won that string of like 3 years in a row when they won the World Series or something like that. I believe it was, but he still had some postseason experience also with them, and even with the Orioles as well, as he struck out like 2,800 some career batters. He had 270 wins, including, I believe he had 11 of his 18 seasons in the big leagues, I believe it was, with 15 or more wins, including this fact too. He won 20 games. The only time he ever won 20 games was the final season of his career, becoming the oldest player at 39 years old to record a 20-win season. So that's quite impressive for him. I'm not sure, though, if he may go into the Hall of Fame as an Oriole or with the Yankees. We'll have to see there. But definitely congratulations to him, who got 76.7% of the votes sliding there. Again, Martinez got 85.4%. The late, of course, Roy Halladay, Doc Halladay is called before, again, passed away in November 2017 because of a single engine plane accident in the Gulf of Mexico. Had a 16-year career, 12 years with the Blue Jays, and 4 with the Phillies. This guy had 203 career wins, over 2,000 strikeouts, I believe. He though was best known for being like the master of the complete game, with 28 career shutouts, I believe it was, but 67 career complete games. He was a workhorse also. Roy Halladay was also a workhorse definitely as well with those complete games, including I believe 7 of his 16 big league seasons. He led the league in complete games. And I believe he also led them 5 years in a row from 2007 to 2011. Had some great years with the Blue Jays. He had a perfect game for the Phillies in his first year in 2010. That 2010 year was probably his best season, I gotta say. I gotta look back on for the Blue Jays as well. I believe he's won the only players also to win a Cy Young Award in both the American League and National League, including in 2010 again. He threw a perfect game against the Marlins, and he threw a no-hitter in his first postseason start with the Phillies in 2010. I believe also that was his first postseason start, because the Blue Jays didn't really have much postseason experience while he was with the Jays for sure. But just an unreal career for him as well, definitely. Cy Young Award winner. Yes, he may not have the highest Hall of Fame. There was 300 wins, whatnot, blah, blah, blah. Yes, some back injuries did cut his career short as he retired, I think only at the age of 36, I believe it was. But some back injuries limited him. But this guy definitely was a great. And of course, his tragic death, of course, makes it bittersweet that he gets this nod as well in the Hall of Fame for sure. Probably gonna be going in as a Blue Jay though, because that was where he played most of his career. But yes, definitely congratulations to Roy Halladay as well. But of course, the story of for sure was Mariano Rivera. We all knew he was going to do the Hall of Fame this year, his first year on the ballot. He was a lockup. I mean, next year the only lockup is really Jeter for sure. But the greatest closer of all time. He struggled as a starter, converted to a reliever, and he had a 19-year career of just excellence. A 2.21 career ERA. The most career saves all time with 652. Had some great moments in the postseason as well, recording some of the final outs. Even though he also, gave up, the game-winning hit to Luis Gonzalez in the 2001 World Series. But, he still has done a lot of heroics, being a World Series MVP, even a ALCS MVP at times. Also getting the final outs of several World Series victories for the Yankees as well. Multiple time All-Stars, I think 13 times in his career, out of 19, of course. He was comeback player of the year, his final year in the big leagues as well. After the year before, he suffered an injury, was out for most of the year, but he still put on a phenomenal final year with the Yankees. I still will not forget that curtain call for him whenever they had both Jeter and Andy Pettitte come out. to take him out of the game for his final major league appearance, as it was definitely an emotional but just a great moment as well for Mariano for sure. He got a great chance going over for him as well. But first ever unanimously selected to the Hall of Fame, definitely for sure deserved, as you know, Mariano Rivera, of course, also is in the Hall of Fame as well. But yeah, guys, that's my thoughts on the 4 and 6 Hall of Famers who are getting into the National Baseball Hall of Fame this year. Again, it's Harold Baines and Lee Smith, elected by the Today's Games committee, and of course the National Baseball Writers Association elected Edgar Martinez, Mariano Rivera, Doc Roy Halladay, and Mike Mussina. Of course, next year again we have Derek Jeter. Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens got to like 59% of the vote. Curt Schillings was like the highest, who didn't get in with like 60%. So maybe he'll get in. I'm still not crazy about Bonds getting. Clemens I could deal with. Sammy Sosa though falls all the way down like 7%. Also noteworthy there. But I think next year we will see Jeter, and I think next year we will get Schilling. I think it's time we get Schilling into the Hall of Fame. You know, I know he has some like political stuff like post his major career that's kind of, you know, been controversial with him getting in. But yeah, I really think, you know, next year we will at least get Jeter and Schilling maybe. Who knows who else is going to get in also. But yeah, guys, what are your thoughts on this year's Baseball Hall of Famers? Leave us down in the comment section below. I'm going to try to get some, again, always going to get some more baseball videos out there. But guys, be sure to get that down there. And be sure as always to click my like and subscribe or click on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at DemandAirborne93. And with that, guys, I will see you all later. Until then, guys, have the rest of your day and peace out, everybody.